Hey Sagittarius, what's going on? We are here with your reading, what you need to know for January. We are starting off first with Four of Cups. With Four of Cups, it can be a feeling of being tired. You can feel like you need to catch your breath. You can feel disinterested in connecting externally, and it can also be going through a period where maybe you feel more disillusioned, or maybe you just feel with the Four of Cups, it's generally that whatever it is that's coming up and being offered, we can feel sort of disinterested within it. So it can be like, I'm doing stuff that I usually enjoy, but I don't feel particularly happy. It can feel kind of like the color gets sucked out of things. And it can be a time when you feel less motivated as well. You can just feel more tired, or you can feel more down for some reason. It's that period of, I think, rest that we can be feeling on a more emotional level, on a more psychological level, on a more spiritual level. Then though I'm seeing the Six of Wands, and so I feel like you're not going to stay within this. This may be like the very beginning of January, but then having that Six of Wands feels like you're not in that energy anymore after a day or two. So yeah, you can start off January feeling a little bit down or blue or disinterested or like not super motivated. It's like the opposite. Four of Cups is the opposite feeling of being excited. Four of Cups is going to be the, like, nothing really feels super magnetic. Like you kind of want to go in a cocoon and be left alone a bit. That will be the feeling. Having Six of Wands, I feel you coming out of that. So I'm not seeing, and it feels quick. I feel like maybe like 2-3 days into January, you're not going to be feeling like this anymore. Some of you can feel pressed. Some of you can feel like the weight of a lot of responsibility. Maybe you feel like there's a lot going on, a lot that's expected of you. So it can be kind of recovering from that. I am seeing Ace of Pentacles. I am seeing the Sun. So very quickly, you're not going to be feeling like that. So just know, if you're feeling weird in the beginning of January, I'm not seeing it last more than 2 or 3 days. I think you just need some time. This feels like a recovery time. Then, having Six of Wands shows something happening successfully that you can feel very, very happy with. Six of Wands is a card of your efforts paying off. So this means that you move through something. You may have not felt like highest energy when you were moving through it. Nonetheless, it shows things turning out quite successfully. Then with that Ace of Pentacles, so this will be a win for you. And that may actually shake you out of how you've been feeling. I get the feeling of that. So it can be kind of like a low and then more of a high that you experience. Then having that Ace of Pentacles, this is going to be a new chapter that's starting. I feel like sometime around 4th, 5th, 6th, this is going to be happening. And having the Sun there, this is something that feels very, very bright. This can feel very exciting. This can feel... it's like there's a glowing quality to this. Wow, and the Fountain. That's fantastic. I wanna read about the Fountain just so you guys know what that is. This is a tarot deck. The only thing that's different within it is that it has this extra card that is the Fountain. The Fountain is like all that is miraculous. So I just feel like something goes from... Four of Cups is like when you can feel very just disconnected from things, and I think that it comes after a period where a lot of energy has been exerted. So then having that Four of Cups is that feeling of like, I don't have any energy. I don't even know how I'm walking across the room right now. But then to end, this feels like you end that week of January, that first week of January with the Fountain. It feels like all of the magic comes back, like all of the spirit comes back, all of the miraculous comes back, and something feels very undeniable. This says the fountain exists outside and beyond the cycles of birth, death, time, and form. It is the nameless, changeless source of which everything is a part. It is the waking from the dream of separation and identity and the recognition of oneself as not only connected to all things, but all things divine nature. When the fountain appears in your reading, relinquish all illusion of control and remain quiet. It invites you to observe, master less, and to just be, effortless and indistinguishable from life. You are the voice and the breath of the universe. And the meaning is oneness, a moment of cosmic clarity, fully awake, the end of seeking, enlightened being, surrender to that which you are, whole and perfect. And so this feels like the opposite of that Four of Cups feeling. So I get the sense that it's like feeling like you've been connected back, like plugged back in. You know, actually the feeling that I'm getting from this, it reminds me in Avatar when they take their tails and they connect it with the tree. It's reminding me of that. It's this feeling of being plugged back into everything that you may have been feeling disconnected from in the beginning. So this looks like you're feeling like this by the end of the first week of January. The sun is next to it too, so it will feel very good to connect with this. So hold on to that. So you get through some type of tough time. I'm not seeing it last long, just a couple days in the beginning. Yeah, Knight of Wands coming out after. This is like definitely the opposite feeling of the Four of Cups. Knight of Wands is you feeling like you have a sense of purpose, a sense of direction. You're feeling called towards something. You feel excited. I'm also seeing Three of Cups too. So this would mean that you want to connect as well. You can feel more social in that second week. Keep in mind too, like if you're listening to this reading and it's the beginning of January, this is something where you can just jot down little notes of sort of the time frame of things and then see what that connects with for you. Because I do feel like your reading in particular feels pretty time oriented. Okay, I am seeing a Tower. And I'm seeing Page of Cups. Okay, when the Tower happens, this can be something that you feel a bit thrown off by. You can feel a bit confused, or you can feel, you know, when something happens and you may not know like automatically what to do, it can be that feeling a little bit. I feel like something that doesn't belong is sliding off. And it feels like it coincides with a new chapter that's starting, which can feel kind of like a dramatic entrance. Wow. I am seeing Eight of Cups. So something surprising happens in that second week that is connected with a new chapter that starts in the first week. What this looks like is that something seems to come together, and you can even feel like you're reconnecting with a vivacious part of yourself. Then I'm seeing the Tower happen, so it almost feels like when you have Three of Cups, this feels like a time when you can even be feeling more relaxed, but then having the Tower can feel like sort of jumping out of that. It feels like thinking that you're sitting on something stable or that you're being supported, and then all of a sudden something starts happening with the foundation and you fall. Like thinking that you're in a chair that feels stable and then all of a sudden it starts collapsing, something like that. And immediately you may be like, do I listen to myself or not? Do I trust my intuition or not? And then seeing 8 of Cups, this looks like something that is enough to push you out of a situation entirely. So it can be something where maybe for some of you, there's a reconnection that happens or a reconciliation that happens, but then having the Tower come out and then Page of Cups and then 8 of Cups, what this can mean is that something starts to surface, and then with the 8 of Cups can be actually looking at that and saying it doesn't even matter. You can possibly walk away entirely. Let's see more about this. I feel like it would be something that you don't want the instability of. It's being clarified by 9 of Wands. This can be something that challenges your values. You may have to sort of stand your ground a bit. I do keep seeing Temperance though. Maybe you don't want to be down anymore either. That 4 of Cups, I feel like you're feeling that way because of something. Like you can be feeling just not yourself, not in your regular energy because of something that's going on. And this 8 of Cups feels like getting yourself out of whatever that is that keeps putting you in that position. And this can feel like a really big win for you intuitively, and you can feel like you're reconnecting with yourself. I mean, I get the sense that this chapter is not really something that you may have expected. It feels kind of like a very dramatic entrance to a new chapter that's happening. Very eventful will be the feeling. And it feels like it happens in the middle of everything. Working more closely with yourself. This can also be work that's being put into a relationship. I'm seeing a door opening. Yeah, I get this overall feeling of you being in a spot where you have the choice of honoring how you feel and taking action based off of that, or knowing how you feel but then possibly feeling scared to follow it, maybe because you're like, well, if I really listen to myself here, what if this happens, or what if that happens, or then it's going to put me in that position. It feels like the difference between that, where there are choices that are going to be made that are associated with this. I do feel like your personal life plays a big role in this and is deeply connected with what's going on. I feel too like something happens and it can feel like pretty destabilizing, and it can feel like not the most ideal situation to be within, and within the aftermath as well, you can feel I get it like this. In one sense or in one way, this can be something that feels really uncomfortable to move through. At the same time, I feel like it reconnects you with something that you need to be reconnected with to move through something like this. And you can feel too like you're coming back together with yourself and having a chapter where there's a big focus on you and what you are connecting with on an emotional and spiritual level and where your focus is. For some of you, there may be a bit of a shift where you can focus more on your sense of connection with things. Like this can be a more spiritual turn or a more creative, artistic turn that things take. It can be more emotionally oriented, more self-care oriented, but in a way where I feel like it connects you with something that nurtures you, nurtures your spirit. That's what's happening. And that you moving courageously through this time that can feel kind of unstable. I feel like the Tower brings something to you where it shows you what you need to see, and then it makes it very obvious the choice of what you want to be doing here. Because it feels even like something that you may have going on that possibly doesn't belong can be exposed. And you'll feel the disruption of that. And it feels like it makes it stick out. Like if you're sort of scanning the scene, the Tower, I feel like points something out where you're like, oh, that's the thing. And I feel like it just helps clarify your next moves that need to be made. But it can come about in a way that feels a bit unsettling, maybe uncomfortable. Things will be built back up though. For some of you too, this can be actually a Tower that happens within a close relationship of yours. Can be something, whatever it is that's built in a way that it's not being built out of authentic material, the Tower comes through and it exposes that. And then you know what to do. There can be a part of you that maybe doesn't want to listen to your intuition when that happens, or maybe doesn't feel trusting of it. I think that there's going to be a focus on patching that up too. Because there's something coming up that you're feeling and you may not like sort of what that highlights for you. And at the same time, it can be something where you can feel maybe motivated to act on that, even though it can feel difficult to do. And maybe you just feel trusting of the process of what's going on here. And this is all for things to get better, to be better. I feel too like you reconnect with your faith, because this feels even like some divine intervention that's happening here, where it just makes it clear and obvious for you about where you're being guided and where you're not being guided. I'd say January is going to feel pretty significant. It feels like some very big stuff is going to be going on here. It's like a tectonic shifting. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.